So,
So hi,
so I'll set
evening
the
everyone,
context,
and
Megha.
first, yeah, please, Jatin.
So, this session will be conducted by both the Asthas, Jaspal and Varma. But before they start and they start giving you a deeper dive about Megha uh, and start with a session with her, I just wanted to give you a quick background. So, I've known Megha for almost 10 years now, and she currently is the chief operating officer at Allianz, which is a French company. They have multiple ventures in India. Some of the
Yeah.
better well-known ones would be companies like Bajaj Allianz, which is the insurance company, and several other companies. She sits in the corporate office, in the head office of Allianz, and she heads the operations for the company. It's a pretty complex operation, and the reason why we thought that she would be an incredible person to bring on for today's session is because um, of all the women that I've had the privilege of knowing during my corporate life, she's one of the people that I know very well personally to have managed demands of an extremely challenging and demanding career, as well as being able to balance it with all the needs that Indian society places on women. And I think it's important for us to have that conversation as well. So how do you manage all of that yet come out very successful is I think can be quite inspirational for 75% of our workforce, which is women. And that's why we invited Megha. So now over to Jaspal and Verma for introducing Astha, telling us a little bit about her background, and then starting the session.
Yes.
Thank
So
you.
hi,
Thank you so much,
welcome, Megha. We are so excited to have you here, and yeah, we are very happy that
Jatin.
Jatin set the flow. But Asta, like my namesake and I, we had a lot of time like friendly stalking you, and I think we'd love to just tell the people here a little bit about your background. So yeah, Asta, to you.
Yeah, so like as Jatin has already, set the context of how she has, really achieved so much in her life at a very young age. She's worked with really amazing companies. She's been a very successful person in the financial and the insurance industry, which I think is a very rare personality. And she's a leader with, she has a sense of purpose. And I think that's something that we can all learn from. So I think we're all excited to have her here and talk about how she, what inspired her and how she is today.
Yep.
So I think, Asta, if you would
Yes.
like to go forward.
So yeah, so we are actually very excited, Megha, to ask you. So there are a lot of questions, and I think that's what we do here. We try and ask difficult questions. We try and have fun with our questions also. But very interesting, when we were reading, when we were learning more about you, we saw a lot of people, rave about, that the emotional intelligence that you have, and that you have a knack for, not just looking at a project success, but what's right for the broader organization. So from that emotional intelligence, I think we're very lucky to be able to do this Q&A session with you. So on that note, I'll kick off the first question. And so like we're all here because it's Women's Day, and that the theme for this year is choose to challenge. And I think that's a really interesting theme, and I think it's very particularly significant because almost 110 years ago, I learned that International Women's Day started as a labor movement, so that chose to challenge the status quo. So on that note, what we want to ask you, Megha, that in the spirit of choosing to challenge, we love to talk about, it's a challenged world is an alert world, and from challenge comes change. So we'd love to get your views on what are the unique challenges that women at work face, and with a particular emphasis on how men at work and men in our lives, how can they be allies in that.
So, thank you for the question. But first of all, happy Women's Day, to all of you. Personally, I am not a very strong believer of this day because, every day is a Women's Day. And, while it's a very cliche statement, But this Women Day to me actually is only a reminder to all the women, who are listening to me or around, more only as a reminder to tell them that how special we are. And sometimes we tend to forget, that we have to treat ourselves well. So this one day actually only reminds us of that. And now I will come back to your question. Primarily, see, from the challenges standpoint, and the theme is very interesting. And I know, this is my actually third session since morning, and we have been speaking about the challenges which women face. um, I have been working now for more than 20 years, and believe you me, my personal view is it's not that a woman face challenges more than men. It is about our reaction to that and how we respond. That makes all the difference. So typically in a work environment, and I will take work as well as personal, while they are not segregated. I will take two examples, and probably like to pick a few examples to kind of give you an understanding how it helps. Essentially, what I believe is that when we go at work, the first incident and is actually defining ourselves somebody different from a different professional. Guys, by any chance, am I audible and visible? Because I got a pop-up. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So it first of all, it all starts from us thinking that we are different. We are not different. We are not different. We may tend to react in a different way, which is the same case when it comes to men. They also react to a particular problem in a different way. That's one bit of it. And a similar way, a woman also reacts to the problem in a different way. Having said that, it all starts first of all from what we perceive it to be from our mind. Starting saying that how do we women manage challenges are there for every single person. It is only our reaction to that, how we can modify, how we can change, how we can guide that, how we can align our mind to fight back. That's one bit of it. My dear friend Jatin, at the beginning did mention about Indian society, and I like to come to that point. Yes, in Indian society we do tend to have a little bit more. I will say that grass is always greener on the other side. Jatin's better half is actually not Indian, so I may want to hear from her sometime. But from this side of the world, it looks that it's a problem with India. I'm sure there are different set of problems overseas as well. But to address that particular problem, we have always been taught, or we have always been brought up to take care and nurture rest of the people around us. And that's how our Indian society teaches us. Think about, as a daughter, about your father or your brother or sister. A woman is supposed to be in some particular way. That only, I think that's a very beautiful point, because that builds a lot of compassion in us. And I think that ways Indian women are much more stronger and emotionally much more sounder than many men and other women around the world. I have dealt with many, so I think we have a plus point there. It's only about how do we leverage that particular strength of ours at our workplace. So I see I have a lot of women folks in my team, and they come with a beautiful ability to multitask, much better than men. We have our own pluses and minus, but I think women carry that particular element very beautifully. We can multitask beautifully well. Where we miss out is asking for help. Where we miss out is taking care of us. Where we miss out is what brings us happiness. So it's about a choice what we make, and how we cope up with that choice and feel happy with that choice. There is nothing wrong at all asking for help. So as a woman, we have an issue, or maybe Indian woman, no, maybe I'm judgmental, but having said that, I personally believe that we tend to not ask for help. We tend to feel guilty when we leave our child at home. or when we leave our husband, or we can't cook for a particular day for husband, maybe it's out of love or whatever, but we tend to feel guilty and we are shy of asking for help, which is actually, I think, a very big item which each one of us must learn, that there is nothing wrong. Most of the time we have our own notions, that if we ask for help, what if somebody says no, or it doesn't look nice? So I think, key element when you have to deal with problem, let it be personal or professional, ask for help. There is nothing ever wrong, and most of the time, actually speaking, if you think about it, there is nothing to lose. You will always gain, because either somebody will say a yes, which in my personal view 80% of the time people will. 20% of the time, they say no. At the end of the day, you were never expecting, so it's absolutely fine. So I think one key element of solving all the challenges is to ask for help. Create an environment around you which really supports, so that there's nothing wrong in creating a support system. Get a maid which can help. Those are very tactical items, but yes, in real life that too help. And start investing in yourself. Be comfortable with yourself. It's okay to fail. There's nothing wrong. Very cliche statement, applies for men as well as women, but I think we women take it more emotional and personal. So it's okay. We should not hyperventilate, when it comes to failure, when it comes to taking a break for 2 months extra for the child. We just need to be happy in whatever we're doing. So I think it starts from that. It starts from having a strong belief in what you want, and if you are comfortable with that, and then if you are comfortable in that, you have decided what you want, then create an environment and ask for help. And I have seen in my career, 90% of the time it works. 90% of the time people are willing to help, just that we don't want to ask for it.
Yeah, I think I absolutely agree with that point, that there's a certain guilt that women have. And I feel a lot of it comes from, us trying to prove ourselves that we can do anything and everything single-handedly. So from that
It gives an
perspective,
immense pleasure. It
Yeah.
gives an immense
yeah,
pleasure
it's like
in believing that we are superhumans, but it's
yeah.
fine to be humans.
I feel it also comes from the fact that we are portrayed to be these role models who can do everything, so we give into that pressure. And when that happens, there's this certain self-doubt that comes in us, that, oh, I'm not able to manage my home and my work together, what do I do? Or I'm not able to look after my kids, or I'm not able to look after my husband, I'm not able to give 100% to my work because I have to take care of the house. So how do you think that women should get out of the self-doubt phase of that maybe I'm not good enough because I have to deal with these problems?
uh, you know it's a very difficult question, to be very honest. Wisdom comes with time, but I can only pass on whatever I have gained to you guys. I mean, if it helps anyone, see, it is very important to do some self talking, and ask our own selves, are we really not happy, or what are we happy with? It's absolutely fine, you know at times in career, when you say that my child needs my time, and it is okay to go an hour early, but be still not complacent and compete. And that is very much possible. I will give an example. I was a workaholic, I still am, but I think in my earlier days I was a bigger workaholic, and when I had my first child, at that point of time, the maternity leave used to be 3 months, and 3 months and one day bang on I'm in office. you know the self pressure of saying I will lose out, the self pressure of what if my that promotion cycle misses, the self pressure of I have to be the best, how can I get a lower rating, or the office is not capable to run without me. And that actually never happened. 3 months office was working beautifully well, no revenues dip, no cost impact. But yes, that doesn't mean you're not valuable, but it's a way to tell yourself that you have created an ecosystem which can sustain without you. And that's actually a quality of a leader. if you're able to manage that. One bit is that, but when I had my second child, my daughter, and I was much, I will say a little wiser, uh, had a few gray hair as well. So I think I was old enough to understand what gives me happiness. And despite at the same time, still 3 months of leave, I took a conscious call of saying that this is what I'm enjoying. I want to be with my child for 3 months extra. You know, for that 6 months, I never thought about office. And today, after my daughter is now 10, if I think back, I enjoy the second phase. The learning from that is that, first of all, we need to understand what gives us happiness. And trust me, there is no replacement of that. No matter what you do, even with the guilt, what you spoke about, that you will, when you're not cooking, or you're not leaving your child behind, you have that guilt. That first of all goes with you believing that what is it you want and what is giving you happiness, and taking care of that first. Because from an, if you're expected to give love, trust me, you need to have to be able to pass that on. And unless and until that cup, your coffee cup is full, if you're asked to share, you cannot share, because your cup itself is not full. You're still hungry to have that coffee. So that's a ground rule I think all women folks should understand and believe, that it's okay, it's absolutely fine, I'm comfortable in what I believe is giving me happiness. It is okay to take sabbaticals. It is okay to take breaks. It is okay if it's your own choice to be workaholic with a small child. But, that doesn't mean that, we are not competitive. We are complacent. So giving you an example, in the second case of my pregnancy, when I used to be at home, even when I joined back home, I took a call that, I would want to be with my child. I want to see my child. It's more comfortable, when I'm back home with my two children. But I used to cover that up by probably logging, towards the end of the day when kids sleep. So, you have to create your own ecosystem, whatever works for you. For some people, what works is, reaching office an hour early than rest of the world. Because when people come, to the office, then of course there's little time wasted. Of course, you get into meetings, but that self time of what you need at your work, really helps. That can be early in the morning, that can be later in the day, that can be weekends, whatever suit, whatever works. So under any circumstances, when I say it's okay to take breaks, etc., doesn't mean to get complacent. It means giving your 120% of, whatever gives you happiness. So if your work and, child both gives you happiness, there's nothing wrong in it. It's being human. It's the same case with men. They have children at home. They are, at work. They want to come back. They want to play with the child as well. Yes, in Indian context, you have more responsibility. But trust me, you get, as a mother, we get more in return as well. The affection, that covers up. But find out your own way, whatever works for you. So if it's early morning, if it's late in the night, if it's middle of the night, if it's, Saturday, Sunday, if it's, if it gives you happiness, it's the right thing to do. So work out whatever works out, but be flexible. Do not allow complacency to set in. We are women. We are capable of, I think, far more. And I'm not too sure how many men folks are there. They may not like it, but I think we are born with a skill to multitask, and we are very good at that. So we have to leverage that strength of ours.
Thank you, Megha. And this is a very, very safe space. I love that Ankur had shared earlier that, we are 75% women. And I think the work culture here is very kind, very friendly, but the men are even sweeter than the women here. We got so many messages and we've been feeling very special. So thank you guys, side note.
So that's exactly, what I wish to say, that, to my earlier point. Now, if you go back to these men and ask for help, they will love to help, provided we ask.
Absolutely. You've given, like, I think in just a short time, you've given us so much to unpack. I think that's it's immensely valuable. But one thing that you said, that stood out to me was that experience se hi to seekhte hain. So, that we have you here, that, we get to learn from your experience. But, in your experience, maybe in your early life or in your, formative years, and again, I wanted to say which are the women who inspired you, but it could be anyone. So, who in your life, who are these people? Maybe it was some of their actions or maybe their characteristics or values that, shaped you to be such a balanced person that you are today. So we love to know more about that.
So I would not see. It's like an Oscar speech question. Whom do you give a credit to? so so I'm not prepared for that. But honestly, if I just think back at a glance, a lot of people have added value in some form or the other, and I can't give the credit to women only. There are many men who have really helped me, or help me learn. I can start from and I will actually pick it up from when I actually joined middle management, because in early stages of career you carefree and you get that liberty. There are fixed hours. You do not think much. You're not that ambitious. The objective of work is that Indian setup. Once you study, you must join. You must do some work, and get married, or probably enjoy your life, and that's how it is when you are in early years. But when it starts to set in, that what is it that you started loving, a lot of people do change their careers at that stage, I have seen, because of what they love. But if I take an example, a lot of people in my journey have helped me out. One, of course, my parents. I am actually who I am because of them, because they actually really uh, they were my guiding force. So I give all the credit to them, to have me pursue what I want. Not everybody have that environment, but I'll say I'm lucky one to have that additional support. Having said that, in your personal life or in professional life, you meet so many people who really kind of help you or teach you. So and I the reason why I picked up that example of asking for help, I remember my first boss, when I joined in GE, and he was a very firm believer on human traits rather than the skill you carry. So the weightage was always given to the will, to the that was his style. What person brings on table from an attitude standpoint than anything else. So that today also I take a lot of risk, because he took risk on me, gave me some of the roles which I wasn't ready for. That pushed me. Then I had another boss, Shweta, I recall. It's like an Oscar speech, as I said, so I can't count on fingers. But my input, keeping in mind the context of the session, is that if you look around, there are plenty of people and everyone there teaching you something all the time. Either they will teach you to do it a particular way, or by their behavior they will teach you that how never to do it. Some of those quoted people who are not in your good books or you can't get along with, they teach you actually what not to do. So coming back to the Oscar question, I can't name. There are plenty of people who help me uh, when I've asked for help. And my guiding force, has been honestly, by barring my parents, have been mainly myself. When I actually talk to myself most of the time, every day, every single day, it's like that really pushes me. So I do a lot of self talking. When I get up in the morning, I do think that is today a charged up day to be in the office. If I do not believe it's a charged up day, then I know something is not right. Either I'm going wrong, has to be a reason why I'm not enjoying my work, or I need to fix something. So Oscar question, all credit to everyone and no one.
Thanks so much, Megha, for making us understand your journey. Speaking about your journey, I think you've established yourself in an industry which is mostly men oriented. And I'm sure that there were many stereotypes in middle management. There were not many women to look up to. So, like, what do you think were the barriers that you faced? And how do you think that people, do you think like how, now there's this uprising known as women in STEM? Do you think the financial industry also needs a movement like this to inspire more women to join this?
So, okay, I'll answer the first part of the question. Do we face challenges? Yes, many, and I agree with you, while things are improving, but at the middle management or the top management, as we go up, things are not that easy. And when I say things are not that easy is because of the fact that, men around maybe at times I won't probably name anyone, but I have been through stages when men are not comfortable being having a female supervisor, and that's something which I've heard more than once, many times. Oh, you have a female boss, must be very difficult. I've heard it many times. And currently where I do work in the position I am, I have many men reporting to me who are actually elder than me as well. So that comes with a caveat. But I have always, in these 23 years, I think what I really cherish is the relationships I have built with my team. So from my first job to whoever people were around me to till date. So it's a very complicated situation, and it's a very difficult situation in our environment. When I was with IndusInd Bank, I remember I was part of the consumer banking team, and out of the 23 member management team member, I was the only woman. So which means that you have to hear a lot of things which sometimes are not pleasant, or there is a typical style, or men get a little uncomfortable. They're used to a particular language, and they feel, I'm getting now very practical, gets very difficult to manage. But how you can overcome this is by just telling yourself it's their problem if they're not able to deal with you, and not your problem. So that helped me. It's a very simple statement, but really it worked wonders. In other words, it does mean that at times it's okay to be thick-skinned. If somebody is not able to cope up with a woman, it's a development need they carry and not you. So it's not right to blame yourself for that. You will face difficulty. Answer to that is yes. But if you have the will, at the end of the day, at top management, what is extremely important is that they value talent, and everybody values talent actually. Of the work you do, unless and until you give an opportunity to someone to say that men sitting next table can deliver much more than I can, and if that's the case, it's an opportunity with yourself. There is actually no difference. It at times take people a little time to understand that, but but we always sail through. We always sail through if we know that we have the will to learn more, if we have the will to accept, if we have the will to be comfortable with yourself, if you have the will to make a change. I don't think so there's this gap of men, women, somebody elder to you, reporting to you, a female boss and all. They're all initial notions. And if you are determined to actually work towards that, or rather not actually work towards that, work towards your own self, it's a matter of time that they go away. And it's I beg to differ when you said that not many women are there in financial organization. It's not the case anymore. You're talking about long back when women were considered to be weak in maths. That's not the case anymore, and that's when in a financial industry there is again it's all myth and notion that anybody who knows maths, who's very good with numbers, can only join financial industry. There are multiple streams. A customer service does not need you to know maths. I mean, I don't even believe that women don't know maths. They're very good at it. It's only about, if you enjoy or not. It's not to do with women or men. Either people love maths or people hate maths. And it's the same case with men. So it's not that financial industry does not have, there is a myth that, women do not understand numbers. But I doubt when it comes to ghar ka hisab, or, trying to figure out or negotiate, when the way you term, way you run your house, or negotiate with the people who work in your house, or able to manage within the budget or in an effective way, there is no way. And I have, not seen, I've seen my dad, my husband, none of them is able to, manage that as well as we do. It's only an extension of that at work, be it negotiation, be it numbers, it's only an extension of that. It's just that we know, we first of all need to believe in that we can, and then actually we can. There are plenty of women around.
I really like that idea, what you said, that, we are really good at maths, and every Women's Day, I somehow keep coming back to this comic that I saw maybe 10, 12 years back. On one side, there is a guy who, does an incorrect equation, and the guy, observer says, wow, you're bad at math. And then on the next panel, you have a woman who makes the same, mistake, and they're like, wow, girls are bad at math, so I think
Yeah.
there's this whole gender stereotyping. But okay,
Yes.
so let's get specific, Megha, and we'll get slightly more practical, because clearly you are, we are asking you Oscar worthy questions because you are a celebrity. But you're doing a lot of good things. I mean, you're doing something. You must have done a lot of things right to bring you where you are, and that's, it's no joke. What you do. So I think because we're a very young team, we maybe more than 75% of us are under 30. So I think what we love to understand is that what are those strategies or practices that you adopted in your career that brought you where you are. And I think it'll be probably be very interesting if we could get an insight into what was the turning point of your career. So yeah, we'd love to get some practical advice from you.
Okay. So, practical tips I can give is, number one, really ask for help. Really, really ask for help. And that has worked for me. I still have very long working hours, though I'm enjoying, my work at home, and I get to spend, I think, time with my children for the first time, so much time. But having said that, asking for help, is extremely important for women in India. You may be married, about to get married, or with a boyfriend, or probably, may have children, at this point of time later in year, in all the stages of life, when you, in case if you are ambitious enough, or you want to pursue career, first of all, do you want that for your own self, is very important question to ask. Does that make you happy? If that answer is also yes, are you really willing to struggle for that as well? If answer to that is also yes, then there is nothing that can stop. Create, one is of course asking for help. Ask help from in-laws, parents. Do not believe what people talk about. I remember when, with I've never left my kids in crush, but I am not a person who says no. But I had a lot of colleagues who used to struggle, where to leave the child, and they were scared. People say ki apna bachcha chhod ke kaun office aata hai and all. People will continue to say, if you are strong believer that it is good for you as well as your child, it is the right thing to do. So go with your gut. Go with your gut. Woman gut is extremely, extremely, strong. Start believing in that. It never gives you wrong directions. Rarely it will give you wrong directions. I haven't seen any. Create an ecosystem, so that you can sustain your dream. Now that ecosystem, once you believe that you have to achieve this, that ecosystem really helps. Really helps. When I say that ecosystem, you know, between you and your partner, and I'm taking child as an example because, I have seen most of the women when they reach the middle management and a age when they wish to, have a family ahead, tend to give up in their careers. And hence I'm picking that particular stage. you know Having a frank conversation, with your partners, while we believe it may be easy, which may, or at times it may not be easy, having a frank conversation with your family, with your partner, of how you will manage that situation, and explaining how important it is for you, solves most of the problems, between you and people around. And it can be spouse, or it can be family around, or for people who are not married, having people around who can help you create that ecosystem is extremely important. Third is, बहुत ही cliche है, लेकिन and I understood it very late in life, but I can pass that on, is time invested in yourself really gives you energy to come back with a bang. And that's very, very important to believe in that, to take out some time, be it 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. And I'll be very honest, I don't know Jatin is still on the call or not, but Jatin was one person who pushed me, in one such bit 2 3 years back, when he forced me to probably go for some classes where I can invest some time only in my own self. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. I Till then it was work, children, taking care of the house, and get back to the next day, work, children, and house. But I now believe, if I look back, I am so glad that I did that. And probably that is where my turning point came over. So to understand of who you are, acceptability, giving yourself some time to be able to give back in a better way, really, really helps. Even if it is 10 minutes, even if that means for 10 minutes I will just listen my favorite songs, if that means I will just for 15 minutes go out and walk peacefully and I don't want to talk to anyone, even if child is at home, trust me, try it out. There is nothing to lose, and you can thank me later. That brings so much energy and power. So I think
I'm very much on the call, Megha. I just wanted to put that out
Yes.
there. I will not miss this for the world. I love where this is
Yes.
going.
So you remember, Jatin, you forced me to classes, and forced my husband into yoga while he left that. But
Yeah.
I think that really, really helped. So thanks. But trust me, ladies, spend time in yourself, your health, yourself. We tend to realize it much later in life, when we struggle either with our health, when we start having some problems. That's when we realize this. So invest in yourself, and invest in you as a human. So that really gives us so much of energy and power, that you can come back to the world much more stronger. So that's my personal advice. And I think turning point of career, if you ask, I will say I'll take it back to maybe 10 years back. What excited me was that till then I had never managed a PNL. PNL is a like Asa said earlier, the financial bit of every business. At the end of the day, we are in the business to make profit, so it's profit and loss statement. I had never managed the entire book. In financial terms, we call it book of organization. So I had not managed that. So I think there was an opportunity, when I was in GE at a middle management, when I think I took that as an opportunity. I thoroughly enjoyed that. Um, I actually understood at that point of time what is it that I love to do. How do I like to run the business? Though I'm not intending to be an entrepreneur soon, but I think from career standpoint, that was something which was a very, very challenging opportunity, and something in me just said that you just loving it, give you 100%. And I think from there on I have never looked back in my career, because it just I kept on doing what I loved, and it brought me where I am today. And personally, investing time in my own self, which happened a couple of years back, is really has transformed me as a human. And I think very much at peace with where I am today and who I am, and I'm thoroughly enjoying my life that way. Though some of the things which I planned may not have happened, but it's okay. It's absolutely okay.
Yeah, I completely agree with you that you need to invest time in yourself and create an
Yes.
ecosystem. I think that is what helps you create a balance, right? So we would just
Yes.
want to know that what kind of ecosystem have you created for yourself, and how do you invest time in yourself?
How do I do invest time? So I have never exercised in my life. Jatin pushed me into it a few years back out of fun. He had a friend who was also Jatin, and he kind of pushed me into those classes, and I joined those classes to only understand that I thoroughly love it. And I've never had a time or prior to that when my phone was away. And even while I'm doing something, I will pick up my phone and see, okay, have I missed something? What if there are two messages that the system has gone down? What if there is an urgent complaint and I have not addressed? I had never done that, and I was a typical boring financial workaholic person who used to be always on the phone. Even 12 o'clock in the night, I used to kind of address if things are going right, not right. And I think that wasn't good. But when I joined those classes, they were group exercise classes. I left phone back, or rather I wasn't allowed to do that because I was supposed to keep it at a place. And forcibly it happened that for an hour I don't touch my phone by the nature of the classes they were. uh, and I thoroughly started enjoying it. That was the me time when I could just cut off for hour. Over period, I realized nothing changed in the world. Everything ran fantastically well. Even if I was 1 hour away, the systems went down and they came back again. The customer did complain, and that got solved by someone else. Uh, so that 1 hour, really taught me quite a lot. I continue that habit, till date, and in some form or the other. So I think to me that's less an exercise, but that's more my time. And I'm away from everybody at home, and I kind of enjoy that. And very recently, I would say 6-8 months back, I started meditating. And that's also, I think it's beautiful. Again, another world. And I, I I have thoroughly started enjoying that. So I think those are two items which I love. But again, coming back, a lot of you may say practically वक्त ही कहाँ है, मिलता ही कहाँ है. We don't get time. अगर मेरे से तो अभी घर का ही काम नहीं हो रहा, you're asking me to do meditation and exercise. I so wish, maybe she has a good ecosystem. But see, again, as I said, if you want to do it, then you will definitely find your own way. So I'll give you an example. Most of the family, get up a little late. Kids do not get up before 7. So I get up at 5:30 or 6 to do that. Do I lose out on my sleep? I sleep by 10. I'm an old person, and I'm sleepy mostly at 10, 10:15. So I sleep a little early. But that's actually finding out a way. If you want it, you will automatically find your way. It's only asking yourself, do you really want it? And coming back to meditation, do I have time? It's just that at this point of time, my family knows I'm working. So once I finish my work, I shut down my laptop. They don't know I'm meditating or anything. I just don't get out of the room. I just finished it for 10 minutes and then just get out. 10 minutes is okay. It's okay to spend on yourself, and don't feel guilty about it. So this works for me. You have to find what works for you, but you have to be determined that you have to, and this is important for you. And you will do it. How? Things automatically fall in place.
Thank you, Megha. And I'll be honest, we were so excited to talk to you. We still have like 10, 15 questions to ask you, but we wouldn't go there. But I'm really happy,
Feel free. I am done with my work
I
today.
just okay. So because I was just doing a note at Arana Jatin, because just let us know the kind of time limit that we have, and of course we want
I
Jatin
think
to have closing words.
I think Astha, we should also open up the chat to questions. So if there are
Yeah,
questions
please.
coming in
Very
from
quickly.
people,
Bilkul. Let's do
So
that.
I had
don't
a
restrict
question.
on time. I'm done with today's work, so I'm very happy to talk to you guys. Absolutely okay. Please.
I had a question from the perspective of men, Megha. Um, how do men become more sensitive to either their spouses who are working or to their colleagues who are women? Is there some things that men should realize, understand, do that can make them support and encourage their spouses and colleagues much better?
So, Jatin, I wish there was a medicine, huh? And it was that easy. But I know in homeopathy, allopathy, and my husband is into Ayurveda, there's no medicine. Okay. Only thing which may help and which has helped me is, communication. How you believe that you can, how sure you are what you want. And, as I again go back to the same line which I said, and have you asked for help? Most of the time, Jatin, I believe it's not that men are insensitive. I do not believe they're insensitive. They have a different point of view. Why do they have a different point of view? Because, they have a different situation. They are different breed, sorry to use that word, and we are different. We are emotionally, I will say, more, I won't say fragile is right word, but we are emotionally more involved than men. We are different. So, half of the life gets sorted when both, partners do understand that you are different, and there are different needs. Then second point, I think, communication plays a very, very, very big role. There is no medicine. You can't convert a sensitive person to a non-sensitive person. But in our society, practically, I will pick up our society because I know, a lot of us, and I have been, talking to a lot of women who are in team, who come back with those practical issues. Mother-in-law doesn't understand. Sometimes husband do not understand what in my personal life. Have I gone through those challenges? Yes, at times, there are demanding needs at home, and you have to leave something to do other, till the time you have the other party, appreciate and respect that, and help you the next time. So it's give and take. A lot is sorted, trust me, by communication. We tend to get into our own silos. We tend to get into our own egos, be it men, be it women. Why should I ask? Isn't this basic? He should have understood. I wish it was that easy. I'm sure there is a very common book, but when I was very young, I read it. Men are from Mars, women from Venus. Trust me, it's really true. So a lot of it, is actually notions. And I am talking, Jatin, more from a woman's standpoint. I have been through those situations personally myself. Most of the time, we do believe, and Asa and the rest of the team maybe just help me understand. I have gone through that when I believe, should my spouse not automatically see that I'm working? You know, uh, मैं तो सुबह से काम करके आया हूँ, now do this. Why can't he see? you know why can't, he take care of the child and I take 10 minutes rest? I haven't slept in the night. But as I said, there is nothing wrong in ask. They're different human. If they're not realizing, doesn't mean that they are not sensitive. They have to be told. They have to be told, and that's how, they are. Accept that fact and use it to your advantage, by communicating a little more. Say what you want. Trust me, they help. It's just that most of the time they don't understand that they are supposed to help.
I think I completely agree with it. I am a new person to handle home and work together. So this is one thing even I have realized, that it's not that they're not willing to help. It's sometimes they just point blank, they just ignore it. They don't know that they're supposed to help at that time.
Yes,
So
because
asking
they're
to help,
different.
yeah. Yes, absolutely. I completely agree with that point.
So Jatin, does it help? I hope Anandini will be in a better state now.
Yeah, I'll pass on the message to Anandini and you can ask her yourself. But
Yes.
do we have any questions from? Let me see. Right. So if there are any questions, just feel free to just introduce yourself and ask a question. or you can put it on chat and we can ask it on your behalf. Is there anything, Astha? Asthas?
Okay, yeah, we do. Again, we were just trying to be cognizant of Megha's time that we had asked, but we do have some questions. But yeah, if I mean, if there's no one else that asks,
No,
but
I think we should take maybe another 10 minutes and then end it,
Yes.
because I'm sure Megha has other stuff, and other people in the call might need to jump off as well. So let's keep it for 10 minutes. And if you
Yeah.
have questions directly, then great. Otherwise, whatever are there from other people on the call, you can take them.
No, to be honest, because these discussions with, especially around Women's Day, they sometimes tend to become a little cliched and बहुत metaphorical हो जाता है. But I really love that everything you answered, Megha, was very action packed. And मैं पहले भी कह रही थी that let's just, this is the perfect place to end the session. We have so much to learn. But there's one more question that that's come from people in the team, that when we were when we were collating our questions, and again we're banking on your solid emotional intelligence here, that we are all marketers, and if you're not marketers, some of us are in sales, but both marketers and sales people, we are in an industry of rejection, because mere boss hai, she might reject 5 of my ideas, she might take 2 more, then she goes up to her manager with those ideas, and some of those get rejected, and like by the time it reaches Jatin or whoever, like an idea has been rejected 30 times, and then it's open to rejection by the client. So we are an industry of rejection. So how do we deal, maybe it's not just for women, but how do we as young people deal with that kind of demotivation?
Okay, so it's nothing to do with Women Day, huh? It's nothing to do with women, and it's to do with every single one of us, and it's nothing to do if you're a marketer or not. Go back to your life and start from schooling. It's always been the same. It's always been the same. It's just that when we get over conscious about it, we tend to overthink about it, and that is the only wisdom I can pass on to you. We must not overthink. When we overthink, I will be very candid. I received a call from a very far I won't say a relative, but a relative's friend's daughter who's struggling. And yesterday, she was having a chat with me, and I'm sorry to pick that example, but she's an assistant manager in some company. And then, she believes that, the organization, she was doing very well, and, people are conspiring against her. And she's been put into different functions, and then she's specifically put into the functions what she's today doing, only so that she fails, and she's chucked out of the organization. And her question to me is, what should I do? Please, and my personal input to her also was that we overthink. There is always a positive side to most of the issues we have. It is very easy to say, I'll be very honest, and it's a very cliche answer, but but trust me, sooner we realize that, happier we are, and better our life becomes. So it's the same way when with her, I told her that, if you're not enjoying it, don't do it, but be sensible. Do not quit abruptly till you are able to find out a suitable job for yourself. Why don't take it as an opportunity, to learn? Because the she was asking me what course should she do so that she gets good job, people appreciate. Nobody, most of the people in the market appreciates your value, your experience, and specifically after middle management. And if you have done 5 departments, which means you understand every element of the business, so that's actually a positive. But yes, at the end of the day, if you're not enjoying it, then till you find a solution for yourself, take this as an opportunity and move on. It's the same thing. It's rejection is part of life, and it's not to do with marketing. You said marketing because you're a marketing firm. Ask people in sales. and it's nothing to do with sales, or digital sales, what you guys are doing to try and find out B2B accounts. Having said that, just think of people who go, on the ground to sell something. There are door-to-door marketing still happening. There are people who go to clients, they get rejected. I know out of the 20 leads we put into Salesforce, probably one goes through in 6 months. That is a reality of life. Where is it from the childhood to now that everything has gone smooth? And if it does, trust me, life will become also very boring. So, one way to deal with that is stop overthinking. You are doing your best, you are giving your best, and that's where it ends. So in the event if it gets rejected, for sure, there is something for you to improve on. And it's again a similar question to say that मैं तो बहुत इंटेलिजेंट था, मैंने आईआईटी का पेपर दिया, सिर्फ एक ही मार्क्स तो कम था, मेरे को रिजेक्ट कर दिया. हाँ, बट वो एक मार्क की बहुत वैल्यू थी. लर्न करो, अगली बार या तो अटेम्प्ट करो, और से दैट आई डोंट वांट टू डू. Overthinking will just kill you, nobody else. That's a reality of life. So sooner we accept, it becomes easier for us. It's a, by the way, I picked up example of sales, but it's same in customer service. When you hear irate customers, it's not that easy. You feel dejected all the time when customers say you are stupid, while he's saying it not to you but to the organization. You feel dejected. What have I done wrong? It's the same when you're doing operationally, you're not able to meet your targets. It's absolutely same across. Trust me, life is fair to everyone, and it's a full circle for everyone. So you're not a soft target, you're not a special target, and just give yourself and move on. Don't overthink. That's the practical advice I can suggest.
Hi Megha, this is Alvi.
Yeah.
I just had one question to ask you. Like when you started, when you started with your career in the early stages, how did you decide your career pathway? Like, did you envision this is where you wanted to be, or did you just go with the flow and it just happened for you?
So when I moved out of college, I did my post graduation last year along with when I had joined job. I'll be very honest with all of you guys. My ultimate aim was that before I get married, I need to have a car of my own in which I'm not picked up a penny from anyone, including my dad. So that was the aim. And when I was in my first year of post graduation, I really do not even recall how it happened, but there was an opportunity and I went for an interview which was with Citibank. And it was a very small interview, 20 minutes, and the next I knew is that I got the job. Of course, did I had a skill? Answer to that is no. The next day I was a banker. Answer to that is yes. Was I very good in maths? Yeah, I always had been very good in maths, but they never took my maths test, by the way. And I got a job. So it just started from there, from a dream of buying a car. By the way, I failed. When I got married, I didn't had car of my own, picked up from my own monies. So I failed. But after I joined Citibank, it just happened that one after the other, I think I was doing well. I normally, just as an attitude, tend to give my 110% or maybe sometimes 120%, and things continue to happen, and I started enjoying, I started loving. Again, as I spoke earlier, the turning point came in when financials was also added, and I think from there I took the second jump, where I said that I want to understand this side of the business, because I've been doing one bit of the business which I get bored and I want to learn more. And I think that was my second point in middle management. And the third turning point is when Jatin forced me to spend some time with my own self. So I think it just went with the flow, but I just made sure that to be very honest, any day when I got up and I didn't feel like going to office, I think I always told myself this time to change. Either I change the way what I'm approaching a problem to or my work, or it's time to change the job. So that's been the mantra. And if I don't enjoy my work, I was out. So it just went with the flow. I thoroughly enjoyed everything, and then just kind of gave my bit and failed multiple times, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you for answering my question.
Any questions?
I think that should be it. I think we're out of time. So I really appreciate Megha for you to do this session for us. I hope it was
My
helpful for
pleasure,
everybody. And yeah, you guys can connect with her on LinkedIn. Now
Yes.
that she knows people from Flow Ideas. And wish you guys a great day and a great year ahead. And see you guys soon. Thank you so much, Megha, once again.